Welcome to the Fit Affiliate Podcast. I'm your host, Lisa Kirkman, and sitting alongside me is Tony Ronke, the founder of Fit Affiliate and all-round CrossFit OG. The mission of Fit Affiliate is very simple: protect the affiliate model. Our sole purpose is to help affiliate owners and coaches attain freedom. We aren't here to tell you what to do, but to instead build your ability to believe in yourselves. Enjoy the show. Welcome back to the Fit Affiliate Dance Show. There's Tony started this morning.
You don't want that episode. Let's just leave that one out.
Well, it's probably good we can't see your legs. That's probably the best thing. Welcome back. Joined again by my ever entertaining co-host Tony, who's in fine form already today. So we're in for a treat this episode. How are you, good sir?
I'm great. How are you, Lisa?
I am excellent, thank you. All the better for sitting across the screen from you.
And Crocs and high socks and no pants. Just kidding. I'm fully clothed. Everybody that's listening to this, despite I can't get my leg up there, I would show you, but I'm not. I'm very nimble, but I'm not quite that nimble.
Yeah, you might do a hamstring on air. That might not be great.
Almost as nimble as Lisa getting into her new swim spa. Sure, we're going to put that video right next to me dancing.
I don't think the world is ready for that or needs that, but thank you.
Which one, me dancing or you in the swim spa?
A little of column A and a little of column B.
Probably and correct. We can stick to what they care about, which is our useless ramblings about affiliate matters.
Exactly, and that's a really good segue into affiliate matters today, is that, there's been a lot of noise in the space this week and the last 2 weeks about changes at the C-suite level, I guess, of HQ, and mysterious surveys going out and what may or may not change in affiliate land and what's happening and the world's ending and the sky's falling and all of these things. How do affiliate owners stick to the mission and focus on, their own backyard without getting sucked into the distraction of, what's happening outside their control?
You, my friend, are a shithead. Thank you for that. You just honey-dicked me into this topic. You're like, let's talk about, distractions and this and that. And I was like, yeah, that's perfect. And then she's like, we're going to talk about C-suites. And I'm like, you son of a... Perfect. Just going to paint myself into a corner over here. It's fine.
We never shy away from the big topics.
We're here for the people, to protect the affiliate model. So I guess that includes Lisa bamboozling me into topics that I don't want to be recorded. Just kidding. There's nothing really to be worried about in that one. But what do you want to talk about that for, Lisa?
Well, I just think it's important because
I know why you want to talk about it, because everybody wants to talk about it right now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, everybody's talking about it, but also, I see on social media just so many people caught up in it. And I'm like, well, while you're looking at that, what's happening between the four walls of your affiliate and your community and the people who actually you can impact and make a difference on and who need you?
Sure. Yeah. All right. So we're here now, I guess. Let's jump right into it. I mean, I'm all the way up to my neck in your new swim spa at this point. Obviously, depending on when this comes out or airs, things have changed pretty meteorically and quickly around here. Yeah, it's whatever. Not around here, but in the CrossFit landscape. And now more than ever, people are certainly paying attention or interested in I guess we'll call it the future of the affiliate model, like what's next. And there's a couple of things that's interesting about that to me. The first one is that for months, years, maybe even a decade now, but really probably for years more than anything, people have wanted change. And so change is here, but now there's this weird thing where it's like, don't want change, but I didn't want that change. And like, you gotta listen, you be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it. Right. And, so there's obviously a lot of interest there, and no doubt about it. I think everybody, not just the affiliates, but HQ in general, like we're all kind of in this place now where we're trying to figure out, what is next. And so ultimately, I think from the affiliate perspective, there's a concern, maybe, I guess would be the word. Some degree of excitement would, I think, be another word. Confusion is another word. Fear might be up there. I don't know. I mean, the emotions probably run the whole gambit depending on where you stand in the whole thing. But I think there's some things that are probably worth noting. Never in history, in my opinion, not even my opinion, but in my experience, have the affiliates had more support. So I think that's a good thing. We've got to start right there. And I think that never in history has HQ been more interested nor invested in continuing to find ways to better support the affiliates. I will leave the audience to their ability to weigh on whether or not what HQ is doing is in their best interest, because I think it's individually, person to person, everybody has a very different opinion of that. And we believe what we've always believed, and that is that the affiliate model is perfect. And that doesn't mean that the affiliate model is easy. That doesn't mean that like it's perfect and that like it just works every single time, but it's perfect in terms of your ability to create something truly fucking special inside this industry, this landscape, this ecosystem, and to really have carte blanche, open-ended access to do whatever you want, however you want, whenever you want. And like for that reason, it's also its biggest curse, right? I mean, we know that, and we watched it play out, and I think we've been very honest with the audience and our listeners that like, this podcast really particularly is certainly dedicated towards a small percentage of the affiliate landscape, right? We call them essentially the blue ocean affiliates. They represent like 15% of all the affiliates in the world. And that 15% is not terribly interested in being an observably, identifiably better version of an agreed upon CrossFit affiliate. Instead, they're interested in using the tools that are available to them through the use of CrossFit in building something truly unique. And that looks very different to many different people. And I think that's the good starting point of the conversation, because everybody is interested in this conversation right now, except for, I think, based on it, because this is obviously represented by our clients, everybody except for those blue ocean affiliates, because they're really not paying that much attention to what's happening over there, aside from the fact that like, are you going to charge me more or less for the same thing that I'm getting? Because like that's all I really need to know. Because like if it's going to be more, probably not that interested. If it's going to be less, probably also going to be interested in that, because I'm going to wonder what you're taking away. So just let me know and send me an email, right? Like that's probably the extent through which the vast majority of what we consider the blue ocean affiliates to really be cared about. Now, the other 86% of affiliates who are trying to figure out what the hell it actually means to be a CrossFit affiliate and what an affiliate is, well, that would be confusing, right? I think because like if you've been working towards this your version of what is a North Star of an affiliate, and then all of a sudden there's potentially this shift as to what that looks like. Maybe that even looks like a shift in your whole business model from dare I say a license to the F word franchise, right? Like, if that's the case, like, that might even be exciting, right? You're like, wow, somebody's going to tell me how to run my business. And like, because like, let's be honest, the vast majority of affiliates are not business owners, right? They have bought themselves a job. Whether or not they know that yet or have accepted that truth, that's to be determined. But if you spend enough time around enough affiliate owners, you certainly know that there's cognitive dissonance runs pretty high there in that regard. They're like, I'm a business owner. I'm like, you are self-employed at best, right? And in terms of being a self-employed or someone who bought themselves a job, like a franchise would probably be like the best solution for you, because then I don't got to think about things. I don't have to think about in test and experiment things like systems and procedures and processes and all this stuff that's just not my skill set. It's kind of like if you were a CrossFitter and someone said, hey, you're just going to download all of your gymnastics, your weightlifting, and your monostructural, and then you can just show up to the workout and apply it. Like, I think most people would be like, where's the link? They'd be like, I'm going to download that right now, right? Because they're like, whatever. There's a lot of people who would be like, hear me out. I actually really enjoy testing and exploring what is gymnastics and how to make that my version of it and different. Like, but I think we can agree that in your gym, if given A and given B, the vast majority of people are probably going to want to download something. And like, that's what we deal with in the landscape. And And there's nothing right or wrong about it. It's just that the question then becomes, okay, if you, let's just say you downloaded all of those things and you then went and you applied them to fitness, wouldn't the benchmarks change? It'd have to.
Yeah.
Right? Because like if we're all the same, the metric of success changes. And then the application of that success would then also change. And then if the application of that success changes and the benchmarks change, then like the entire pursuit of the thing changes. So now you've downloaded all these things, but that made a new baseline. So then it's about comparing your application of said things against the other application, other people who downloaded their application, because like that would be the differentiator. And so what people don't realize, I think, in a lot of situations is that salvation looks like a lot like solving their immediate problem. But what people don't understand in many cases, it's not an affiliate owner problem, but it's humans in general, is that the solution of one problem gives way for your ability to solve the next problem. And then that will give way to your ability to solve the next problem. And the key in that, the operative part of that is your ability to solve the next problem. And so if we all got leveled up by a standardization, the problem's still coming with us, right? You are still going to take your discomfort, your confusion, your chaos with you into that next level, but the level just gets raised. And then because it gets raised, things get much crazier, much faster. It's kind of like, and I apologize if I'm just ranting at this point, but it's a lot like when people win the lottery. Like if I just won $1 billion, all of my problems would be solved, right? How many people keep the money? Almost none, truly, right? Like, and I don't know what the actual stat is. So you guys can go Google that because somebody will definitely tell me what the stat is. But you know, and the reason for that is that the problem wasn't the money. The problem was that your behavior was causing you a lack of money. And so now you can't just plug money into it and then hope that that behavior is going to get eradicated. Now, granted, you could probably buy your way into way more circles and friends and networks and solutions and things like that with $1 billion. But like, if you didn't level up to get there, what are you going to do with it when you get there? Right. And, like, that's why most of them lose the money.
And potentially as well, like we talk about, if you know, bringing your problems, I guess, to going to follow you. The same will be said if you're being measured against a standardized platform against everybody else. That imposter syndrome you currently have about, you know, being where you are is going to get exponentially worse because you're like, uh-oh, I can't justify where I am because I am this, I'm boutique, I'm niche, I'm different, because it's like, oh, I'm going to have the same scorecard as Joe X, and now I feel really like less than, even though it looks the same as. I feel like that all those doubts and fears and things that cause you to trip yourself up are going to be there in multitudes more as well.
Sure. Yeah, it's something like, again, I don't know the actual number, but something like 94% of the world, the entire world's population, consumes caffeine. Easily, hands down, the most consumed supplement on the face of the planet in history, followed closely by, well, not closely, but followed next by creatine. And the reason that that's important is that caffeine is identifiably a performance enhancing drug. Right? Like it is, obviously. Anybody who's consumed caffeine appreciates it for the same reason that I appreciate it in my second cup of coffee today. But if 94% or 95% or 92, whatever the number is, if 90% of the people are consuming caffeine, is it still a performance enhancing drug? And the answer is no. Right? I mean, it is a baseline achieving drug at that point, right? And like you know, and now if everybody stopped taking it, those of us who did take it when we needed to take it would have an advantage over everybody else. But if everybody's taking the drug, it's kind of like, you know, maybe the answer to performance enhancing drugs, PEDs, in the Olympics is just to let them be available, right? Because then at that point, then you just move the baseline. Like, because like if we're all on drugs, if we're all on, you know, testosterone or steroids, then like we've just increased or leveled the playing field. Now we already know that like then people will find a new exogenous hormone or supplement to take that will then improve upon that baseline, and so on and so forth. And that's going to be the exact same thing that would happen through any degree of standardization. Is that really all it's only going to happen is that much like the old saying goes, is that money doesn't make a person bad. It basically exacerbates what they already are, right? Like it becomes a heightening of it. And the same thing will happen, and I don't think that anything, I have no opinion at this point in regards to what things are coming down the pipeline. Do I think they're good? Do I think they're bad? I remain indifferent. What I do think is that, and I will always think, and I will basically fall on this sword forever, is that the affiliate has everything they ever could possibly ever need in the history of ever to be successful already at their disposal, and they have had that. How you interpret that ability or that availability and those things that are available to you, that's up to you. And that's really the framework that Fit Affiliate was built on, right? So obviously we're biased in this conversation, but like, simply put, we knew that the baseline existed and wherever it existed. But the thing that mattered, and the thing that nobody's talking about, is that the affiliate owner is the outlier. They are the common variable in the common problem. And no matter how much we, quote unquote, standardize or bring best practices into this, or, give them templates, or hell, just give them a franchise model. It's still going to take the person at that helm, at that seat, and all it's going to do is amplify the version of them that already exists. And if that person is currently already struggling, I don't want to be the one to tell you that you're going to struggle even more. But if you can't swim in the shallow end, you probably don't want to drift into the deep end. And if we just bulk leveled up every business without letting them learn the lessons in the personal growth that comes from leveling up, and you just bump them up in their baseline, that's a lot like just picking you up by your waistband and chucking you into the deep end and being like, left hand, right hand, you got this, buddy. Like, oh, you don't got it, right? And then boop, 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 to the bottom. I'm not going in. You're going in? I'm not going. Lisa's already still in a swim spa. So, in that, I reserve judgment on that. I don't know what that looks like. I don't know what is coming down the pipeline. I don't know if anything's coming down the pipeline. I don't know, if new man bad, new man good. I think that like any growth in the company in terms of advancement of the vision of the company could be a good thing. Could also be a different thing, and different doesn't always receive that well. So I remain indifferent to it, because I do think that what we have always focused on is the only thing that matters, and that is the affiliate owner, the person, the individual behind this thing, and that is leveling up that person. And I've spoke about this before, but we know that the L1 kernel is the most important part of CrossFit as its methodology, especially its ability to deliver and execute and return on benefits, right? And so if the L1 kernel is the most important source code of the CrossFit ecosystem as a methodology, as a company, then we've believed, and we've always believed, and we built the whole company around the fact that the affiliate owner then is the kernel, the source code of the affiliate model, all the affiliate owners. And the entirety of our focus has always been on leveling up the source code, improving the source code of the affiliate owner. But here's the thing with that, and this is where I think everybody gets it wrong. And this is, I guess, the point of this whole conversation, is that most people think that by leveling up the source code or improving the source code, it's teaching them new things. In some instances, that might be, in fact, a good thing. But more often than not, it's not about that at all. It's about improving the response ability of that business owner. And to do that, we have to change the way that they see the whole world around them, right? We have to completely change the way that they see their limitations, their obstacles, and really their behaviors, right? Because we believe that in a world where people do the things they do and make the choices that they make, not because they have to, but because they don't know any different. And you can't just give them a new set of parameters and be like, go see things differently. It just wouldn't work. You're going to look at the same material, do the same thing. And so that conversation has always been like, imagine trying to download all the newest apps, but you haven't updated your iOS, right? Like none of those apps will work. Or vice versa. Or you updated your iOS, but you didn't update the app. So what happens? You click on it, it doesn't load, won't even open, right? Must update. And that has to happen at the affiliate owner level. And there's a lot of different ways to layer on new application systems, processes, et cetera, onto the operating system, aka the affiliate owner. But until somebody upgrades that kernel, that source code, they're not going to run correctly. And so my point in this whole thing is that it doesn't really matter what comes down the pipeline, because what matters is what's already here, and that's the affiliate owners. Those people have to be addressed or attended to.
And I think, when we talk about like upgrading the operating system, and we get very emotionally attached to things as affiliate owners, to ideas, thoughts, concepts, and we take a great deal of ownership, I guess, of, and I may be guilty of this in the past, of taking ownership of things that we can't control and that we're falling into the habit of being responsible for, not responsible to. And we can get distracted by those things and get involved in that. And rather than going, okay, first things first, what do I need to protect first? And instead of going, well, this app's not working, this app's not loading, I'm just going to keep reinstalling it. It's like, look at the actual core of the issue rather than going, actually, over there, that's something I'm going to get passionate about and get committed about, and I'm going to follow every discussion and argument about it, and I'm going to comment on all the online posts, rather than getting as committed and passionate about, I need to look here first and start fighting for that.
Yeah. These are not numbers that I'm responsible for, but like 85 and 14 or 85 and 15, 86 and 14 are not numbers that I came up with, right? These are identifiably 86% of all businesses in the world are line item extensions of other businesses, meaning like walk into, I think we've talked about this before, you walk into a bakery, you're like, this bakery is super cool. I want to own a bakery. Like, you're inspired, right? So what do? You're going to go try to become a slightly better version of that bakery. But there's a small number of bakeries in the world who weren't necessarily inherently inspired. Maybe they were, but weren't probably inspired because they walked into a bakery and like, it sounds cool becoming a bakery. They probably likely really fell in love with baking and doing something very novel and new and unique in the baking world, and bringing a new spin to an old thing, right? And so they probably started just making some baked goods, and then all of a sudden it became this quote unquote overnight success, and the line was around the corner, right? And so what happens? They have created an entirely new market segment of blue ocean. They've created something identifiably unique in an identifiably similar industry, a bakery. So what does every bakery do at that point? They try to become that version of that bakery. And that's how the whole industry levels up. That's how bread gets better and donuts get better and like everything gets better. But if outliers don't exist, and if those people don't exist who get into this thing for that reason, the whole thing begins to collapse, because if nobody is challenging the system and we're all running the same system, that leaves us to basically do things like compete on price. Essentially, it only allows us to race to the bottom, but it also allows us to fall victim of things like groupthink and like becoming an echo chamber and all these things that we know to be bad in all sorts of other different areas like politics and business and fitness, et cetera. Like, the last thing you want is to be in an echo chamber of anything, because at that point you're not receiving information from outside of it. But one of the reasons the affiliate model was so, identifiably great was the cream will rise to the top. And I think that always became an incendiary or problematic statement to many people. It was almost like derogatory, and that like, it made people feel a certain type of way. And I think, here's the thing: how you respond to anything says more about you than the thing that you're responding to. This is true of all things in life. And so if like that statement has always bothered you, probably not the cream. I'm just going to be the first to tell you that, maybe. But like, the good news is you can still turn into cream, I promise. But you need to understand that first and foremost, you're not cream, so that you can then figure out how to become cream. Because if you think you're cream, but you're just water,
you're going to have a hard time.
Have a problem, right? And like, that's the case for a lot of this situation. And so, but if we don't have, the beauty of that model though, was that by doing that and by allowing these people to be and test and challenge and provoke and prod and really question the system, the whole thing grows, right? And and then that levels up everybody, because we have to try, we have to feel our way through, we got to break it, we got to be bad at it, we got to do whatever. And like, we level up slowly. And it's not to say that, becoming a franchise is bad. Cause like, listen, owning a McDonald's franchise is an incredibly lucrative thing to be invested in. And
Mm.
if that's all you're really after, and there's nothing wrong with money, and if that's all you're really after, like, man, it's not too bad to do. But like, hamburger, you ain't easy to get through either. I'm gonna be the first to tell you that one. Like, might seem simple, but most people think that like McDonald's is like, I own this place and it's really easy to do, but it's still a very difficult thing. But there's a reason why, like, the greatest franchises that we all know, like McDonald's, et cetera, like, they have incredibly high barriers to entry. And the reason for that is that they become metrics to then choose whether or not Lisa has the skills to play at this level once I teach her all of these things, right? And those things they're not in place. They've never been in place in the affiliate model. So like, if we just bulk leveled up everybody without also bulk assessing them first, it would create chaos, right? But the good news is, in the current affiliate model, you can do anything that you want to do, but that becomes the issue. And one of the easiest ways to know whether or not you're on one side or the other is if you're distracted by all this right now. If you find yourself, rallying around the conversation and the mission and the chaos and et cetera, and like wondering what if, et cetera, like, that's an easy way to know that your business doesn't have a why, and that your why has actually always been CrossFit's why on accident. Instead of developing your own mission, vision, and cause, and going after your piece of the landscape, and and creating that future based on your decision or your design, you have then aligned, instead of on accident aligned with CrossFit's, because we've said it before, the absence of whys, what's will become whys. And so that what, which is CrossFit, because that's the tool you're going to use in your business, and you let that what become your why. There's a lot of affiliate owners who, when you ask them why they're in business, they will give you the talking points of the L1 kernel, right? They will give you the verbiage of the last video release from media. They will give you those things, and they will tell you things like community and all these things. And there's nothing really wrong with that. It's just that tells you that you didn't build your own business. You wanted to build a version of somebody else's business. And that's why maybe it's not a bad thing that they're going to come along and help you have something that's identifiably worth building, right? Because I think that's been the big confusion why so many people are rallying around this problem for years of like wanting more help, is because they didn't get into this because they wanted to build something novel and something unique and beautiful. Like, they got into this because they're like, I wanted to build a CrossFit affiliate, but there was never a real definition as to what that business looked like.
There's no blueprint.
Right. And if there wasn't one, you're going to try to emulate one to the best of your ability. And so you basically, everybody who's upset about these potential impending changes, you have to know, and I'm probably going to get roasted for this, but you made that possible by demanding that that's what you wanted, instead of taking some degree of responsibility and being like, what do I want for my business? And what am I willing to try, explore, do, fail at to build, and then go doing that thing. And I think they're both great business models. I think the world needs way more CrossFit affiliates. It needs way more CrossFit, not less, in any stretch of the imagination. And if any future changes create more access to CrossFit, I am 1,000% in. If any future changes creates less access to CrossFit, I am 1,000% out. And that's just always been the litmus test for me, is that like, hey, are we getting this thing to more people more often, more commonly, more regularly, more availably, whatever, then less we're in, right? And like, that's the whole premise behind what Fitfiliate was built on, was that like, we want there to be not only, more successful affiliates, we want there to be more affiliates. We want there to be more access to the thing that changed our life, so that we can help more people change their life. And like, that should pay itself forward, not less. And that's why, we decided that you guys didn't need to know what to do. Somebody needed to figure out what it is that you weren't doing. Right? And that's the approach that we always took, was rather than trying to layer on the complexity and the distractions of what else you need to do and what else you need to watch, what else you need to learn and download and research and this and that. We needed to instead figure out what it was that you, as an individual affiliate owner, not the collective affiliate owner, you as a person and as an individual, what are you not doing to be successful, and starting there.
Yeah, looking at the behaviors and asking, the questions like, why is that a problem? Why are you doing that? Like,
Well, there's an important part of that conversation too, though, right? So when we say, why are you not successful? What are you doing to make you not successful? The most important part of that, though, that it gets missed is that only you, the individual, will define what success looks like. And so when we say, what are you not doing to be successful? We don't mean, what are you not doing to measure up to the rest of the affiliates, or what the dude down the street is doing, or this identifiably great affiliate over here is doing. What we're saying is, what are you not doing to measure up to your vision and your version of success? And it's crazy, but most people have no idea what success looks like to them. And if they do know it all, in most cases, that version of success looks like somebody else's success, right? Like, and they're after that thing. And
well, how many times do you, when we have someone reach out to us and you have the first call with them, and you ask them the magic wand question, like, what if it all goes right? Like, what do you want it to be? And they will sit there 100% of the time and list off all the things they don't want it to be. And then it will come the generic as like, oh, well, I'd really like to coach, less classes, or, have the occasional weekend off and things like that. It's like, what does this thing look like for you when it's successful, which is very different. And you're right, at Fitfiliate, we want to celebrate the uniqueness and the individuality of the affiliates and understand that every dream is real, which is why we're not providing a how-to playbook, because my dream is different from your dream, is different from every one of our clients' dreams. But we have to take them through the process of seeing that, and learning how to discover, well, what does it look like for you? What when you tick this box, do you go, yes, I've been successful?
Yeah. This is not an affiliate problem. Just to be very clear. And I think I want to try to make sure that we highlight that a lot more on these episodes too. And I try to, but like the problems that affect the affiliate model are not inherently affiliate model problems. They're just business problems in general. Like, I've had the fortune and misfortune of working with business owners in many different industries, and I can tell you, they're not that different than affiliate owners. Like, if you want to see something that is fascinating, get into the medical practice and start talking to some doctors. Matt from Aurelia, he's now had the fortune of spending time with practice owners in Canada, and he's just like, oh my gosh, they're literally just affiliate owners, but they do doctor stuff. I'm like, yeah, because they're people, right? Like, because what happens? You go to school, you become a doctor, you learn how to do doctor stuff, and then you all of a sudden now you own a doctor business, and you're like, nobody taught me that in med school, right? And like, now you got to figure out business stuff. And let me tell you, that's a completely different game, because those bills are much larger than they are inside, across the landscape. So this is not an affiliate owner problem. This is a business owner problem, in that we tend to not look at business ownership as an individual identity, as an individual skill set. We only look at it as the outcome, or essentially the correlation to success, right? Like, a good business owner just happens to be somebody who's successful. Or is it that a good business owner is way more likely to become successful? Because I think it's the latter, right? And what that really means is not it could mean to some degree your business acumen, your understanding of financial models and predictions and systems and processes would certainly help you more so than they would hurt you. So that's a good thing. But like, the largest predictor of success in anything, doesn't matter whether it's business or fitness, etc., is behavior, right? Like, show me what you do, and I will literally tell you what you're going to become, right? And that's incredibly important, because it's almost only possible from an outside perspective. Because as a human, I don't think this would come as a surprise to anybody listening to this. if you were completely aware of all the things that you did every single day,
Mm.
your head would explode. You'd probably be dead, right? Because we're just trying efficiency systems. So most of us is on autopilot for a good reason, because brain power is expensive calorically. And
Mm.
so you can't think about what you do. But when you stand outside of somebody and you watch what they do, it's fascinating. You're like, what? You told me you wanted to do this thing. Why on earth are you doing this thing? And I think one of the best examples of this is, and none of this stuff should be a surprise to anybody who's an affiliate owner, because like your job is to do this with people's fitness. Like it's just my job to do this with people's business, right? With their life. Because at the core of this whole thing, whether it's business or it's fitness, what's the constant? A person. It's a life. It's a human. It's personality. It's character. It's behavior. And so if you're going to be successful as a coach, what do you have to do? You have to address the person, the character, the behavior, right? And so an easy place to see this is, the comical one is in nutrition, right? Like you tell me you want to do all these things, but then immediately you go back over here and you're eating all these same things. It's always been the joke in the fitness way, like, how are you going to do the same things and expect different outcome? I think we know what that means, right? Like, you're not crazy. You're just a human. You're on autopilot. And so somebody has to be like, I don't need to teach you to eat more chicken. I don't need to tell you that chicken's better for you than pizza. What I need to do is say, why'd you eat that pizza? You're like, I don't even know. Like, well, here's the thing. I've noticed there's a pattern. On Tuesdays, you seem to slip up a lot more than you do the rest of the week. What's happening on Tuesdays? Oh, well, that's the day that my boss is in the office and like they drive me. So on Tuesdays, you're way more stressed out because the boss in the office, yeah, they run me ragged. So has pizza always been a stress response food for you? And the answer is probably yes, right? So like, I don't need to go into this whole diet. You get it, right? And like the point is that we don't need to solve for pizza. We need to figure out how to solve for Tuesday. But this whole time, we've been trying to figure out how to solve for macros and micros. But the trauma, the trigger still exists. So on Tuesday, you're there. Now, maybe you just don't go to work on Tuesdays, or you find a way to work remote on Tuesdays when the office, there's lots of ways to solve that. But I bet you if I can change the environment, I'll change the outcome. Right. And so a lot of this conversation started in terms of distraction, but it's really mostly about intention. And so most of us as humans are distracted with solving for the outcome, right? Like I got to lose weight in this instance, right? I need to lose 15, 20 pounds. So I need to eat better. Teach me what to eat. Do you not know what to eat? Right. Now, a normal nutrition coach in this instance would not be a coach at all. They'd be a nutrition trainer. They would gladly sit down with you and talk to you about all the values and all the new fads in terms of like why you need to only eat steak and nothing else and become a carnivore, and that's going to change everything. But Ted still comes to work on Tuesdays as the boss, and your likelihood of face stuffing a cupcake in your pie hole is still incredibly high on Tuesdays, regardless of how carnivorous you are the other 6 days of the week, right? And so I could layer on the complexity, I could layer on the confusion, and I could layer on the chaos, but all it's going to do is distract you. Now, all of a sudden, you're worried about how carnivorous you are all week long, as opposed to how balanced your ecology is. And so if we can instead look at your entire environment, we can then change for ecology. I can say, hey, we have to change your Tuesday, not what you eat, because you eat really well the rest of the week. I do? Yeah. I mean, you're within a couple of 50 calories each day, but on Tuesday, it's off the charts. Like, so we just got to solve for Tuesday and figure out that. And all of a sudden, it changes your whole life, because it was never about the food. But what happens when you keep making it about the food? They jump fad diet to fad diet to fad diet. They have some success and they yo-yo. Why? Because nobody upgraded the kernel. The behavior still exists that leads to the poor food choices. Doesn't matter what platform you're on. And this is the same thing I said. I had the pleasure of speaking to the entire field director team yesterday. And it's like, why is there more help than ever for affiliate owners and business owners ever? But really, let's take into affiliate owners. There's never been more help available to affiliate owners than ever. Both CrossFit and the gurus and the people just raining down on them to help them. Why is there more help than ever? And there's arguably even less success. It's because all of those things are distractions. Like, 10 years ago, things weren't inherently better, but people didn't really think that there was a way to learn something. They weren't distracted with what I need to download or watch or buy or do or all these things. And that might sound weird from somebody who is in the affiliate help landscape, but that's why we don't come to sell you anything. We come to just observe you and then improve upon you from there, because it doesn't matter what's coming down the pipeline. It's never mattered what's coming down the pipeline. And in fact, if it does matter, it's only going to matter because it's just going to distract everybody more, right? Because, you know, in 2015, I know for a fact I could not have grabbed an affiliate owner or 10 of them, and they would have likely all 10 been able to tell me what a lead was. No way. Or at least define what would make somebody a lead. Today, I can grab 10 affiliate owners and 12 of them can tell me what a lead is. Right? And that's simply because marketing has told them what a lead is and showed them why they're bad at it, and then offered them the cure, right? And you know, everybody rallied around the C19 thing, saying that like the same people who are selling the chaos sell the cure. Yeah, same thing's happening in your business. They're trying to expose the chaos of your business, and it's working. Every affiliate owner I know now is highly, highly hyper aware that they're bad. They're not good at business, and that they need somebody's help. The problem is that somebody's selling them a pill at every turn. But we're, on the other hand, saying, hey, just like you guys do in your gym, you're not bad. In fact, you're quite good. You're just distracted. Just like all the people who come in your door wanting to learn how to exercise better, you're already doing the right thing because you want to exercise. You're just distracted doing all the wrong exercise. So let's just strip you of all the chaos and let's just do one thing. Measure everything that you do and see if it improves your fitness based on our definition of fitness. And if it does, we're going to continue to do it. If it doesn't, we don't do that. That's it. We don't need to talk about anything else. Right? Like, as long as it improves this metric, we'll do it. If it doesn't, we stop doing it. That's all fitness ever was. And that's all your business is. Right? Like, what is your definition of success? Somebody has to define that, because only you can define that. It's a little bit different than fitness in that degree, but it is really just freedom, 4 of them: time, money, purpose, and relationship. But you know, what is your vision of those 4? What does that look like? Okay, great. Show me everything that you're doing. Let's figure out which was moving those needles. And if it's moving those needles, keep doing it. If it's not, let's stop doing it. And the truth is that almost everything that we do as business owners is not actually moving the needle forward. It's no different than the people inside the Globo gym who are just doing more workouts, hour of cardio, back and buys, chest and tries. Like, they're working out 3, 4, 5, 6 hours a day. And they might look good, but what do we know to be true about that? Display model only, right? Give them a set of stairs. Let them carry a large load over a long distance. Not having it, right? Like, it doesn't matter. And we know, because we have a bulletproof definition of fitness, that it's easy to quantify your inputs against your outputs. In business is the same thing. But if we kept coming in to the affiliate and we're like, hey, we're going to do this program, and also now we're going to add on West Side. Now we're going to also add on this thing. And now all of a sudden we got like 8 different programs running at the same time. I don't think any of us would think that we were fitter because of that. And maybe you would. But if that's the case, you're probably not our people. But most of you guys know better as it applies to fitness. Take the lessons that apply to fitness and apply them to your business. It's literally all affiliate ever wanted to do.
And we're really good at, you know, doing the experimenting and the pulling apart and the analyzing about, well, okay, your snatch isn't getting better because you're not doing your mobility and your progressions and pulling that apart. But we're not incredibly good about overlaying those lessons from fitness to our businesses. It's more challenging where we're like, we've fitness has taught us the skill set that we need to be able to be analytical and look at behaviors and see what is and isn't working. But we seem to miss the gap of, like, we can employ these same skills in looking at our businesses.
It's funny because, like, probably the thing that's said literally the most around here is repeat successful actions to, like, the clients. Because, like, you would think you wouldn't ever have to remind somebody to repeat a successful action, but I can tell you that it's almost like amnesia when it comes to successful actions. But as it applies to this, like, repeating successful actions is repeating what's worked for you in fitness in your business. But it's hilarious sometimes, I suppose,
Mm.
how much we overlook it. Okay. But we just don't think that those principles that worked in fitness would apply to business, because that couldn't be the case. And here's how we know that that's true. Not that it applies to your business, but that you don't think that
Mm.
it does. Because you don't even think it applies to your nutrition, right? You think
Mm.
that fitness is easy: burpees, thrusters, benchmarks, etc. Increase fitness, work capacity, broad times, multiple domains, blah, blah, blah. Like easy,
Mhm.
simple. Nutrition, well, macros,
Yep.
micros, carnivore, keto, this, that, complexity, layer it on. Like, we all thought that, like, oh, fitness was different than nutrition, but like,
Mm.
it's the same thing. What does nutrition look like to you? What is your ideal
Mm.
outcome? Right.
Mm.
Luckily for us in CrossFit, like, those happen to be corollary, and increase your work capacity, cross broad times multiple domains, like keep body fat levels low to support activity, right? Like,
Mm.
and so we didn't need to get much more in the weeds than that. But then also we just started to overlook it, right? And then people were skipping it all together, because most people come into CrossFit and lose so much weight so fast. They're like, salvation. And then all of a sudden they do CrossFit 6 days a week for like 6 years. And you're like,
Yeah.
how do I get cross fat? Right? But it happens, right?
Yeah.
It happens a lot.
Yeah.
And so much, because what happens, adaptation. What happened?
Mm.
We didn't update the kernel. Right? We didn't upgrade that whole system. The same thing is true of the business. If you come
Mm.
in and you start with layering on more applications and more software, you're going to crash the computer.
Mm.
And that's what's happening to the affiliate owner. And so we need to either evaluate the affiliate owner much better coming into it before we give them keys to an affiliate. And then we
Mm.
can layer on all sorts of software and applications to them. But that would limit the number of affiliates that we could have. Because, like, you can't say on one side, we want to have 30 million CrossFitters by 2030, and then simultaneously increase the barrier to entry to these strongholds of
Mm.
CrossFit, right? We need more affiliates. In order to get to 30 million, that for sure means we're going to need to get to like 100,000 affiliates. That can't happen through, making it harder to open an affiliate. And,
Mm.
there's just no way really around that. So we need to have more affiliates, not less. And like I said, I stand with anything that improves more access to more CrossFit, period.
Mm.
Full stop, 100% non-negotiable. You have all my resources. Anything that limits that, I'm going to question it. Right.
Mm.
And one of the easiest ways to limit that, regardless of what HQ is doing, is to layer on software, systems, processes, procedures to an unupgraded kernel, an upgraded software system. So somebody has to upgrade you. And that does not look like just learning new business practices, because
Mm.
you could take the best computer program, but it's not going to run on your 30-year-old MacBook, right? Like,
Mm.
if you're walking around one of these things that doesn't even turn on anymore, this one, like, doesn't matter what I download, it's still got to run through that 92-year-old software. You already know what would happen. The same is true of your business too.
Yep.
Upgrade you.
So as we start to wrap this one, I'm an affiliate owner. I'm sitting there. I'm feeling uncertain. I'm feeling anxious. Like, I don't know whether I should be in or out or what I should do. What do I need to? What's the next thing that I can think of that's
You
going to
should
help
be
move me
all in,
forward?
no matter what's happening. You should be all in 100% on your affiliate, not the affiliate, not all the affiliates, not what anybody else is doing. You need to do what you need to do for your affiliate. And that's the important part, because only you can prevent forest fires. Only you can decide what your affiliate looks like. And so you need to start by getting crystal clear on what your vision of the future looks like for your affiliate, not what it means to be a good affiliate. Because to be a good affiliate means to be an identifiably amazing version of your affiliate. Full stop. And that means somebody's going to have to come in and say, okay, where are you trying to get to? It sounds awesome. Paint me a beautiful picture of what the future looks like. Awesome. Show me what you're doing. Right? Because, like, if I'm going to fix your nutrition, it's the same thing. Fantastic, 15 pounds. Show me what you're eating today. Right? And you can find everything you need to know about how to solve somebody's problem by letting them give you a day of eating. You're going to be like, okay, this is going to be a little bit more work than we thought, right? And we just start there, right?
Yep.
And just like in the example I gave earlier, it's probably going to be something like Tuesdays. Going to have to change Tuesdays.
Perfect. And I think I love the way that we can put our very affiliate-esque perspective on, the situation where, many people are running around saying the sky is falling and the world is ending, but it can be as simple as just focus on you and what success is
The
to
reason
you.
we can
And
do that is because the whole model was built for this day, right?
yeah.
We literally built it to defend and protect the affiliate owner and the affiliate model. And the affiliate model is designed around entrepreneurship, not intrapreneurship. And all we had to do was support the person behind it, and then they can go do anything they want to do. And so
Mm.
that's all it's ever been.
Perfect. And if you want to know more, please reach out for a chat if you are in that space of uncertainty. Book a call. Link is in the show notes. Please come and talk to us. We're not going to sell you anything, even if you beg us to on that first call. That's not what we're about. We're just going to ask you lots of questions and help you, get to your own answers that you already have. So, and that's a powerful tool. But please also follow us on the Instagram on the Instagram. I sound like I'm 80 on Instagram at FitFiliate if you want to join the conversation. Thank you, good sir. Till the next one. Thanks for listening. We hope you enjoyed today's show. Please remember to like and subscribe on your favorite platform. And if you know an affiliate owner, a coach, or entrepreneur that would benefit from hearing our conversations, please share this with them. We love the feedback and support we have from you guys, our audience. If you'd like to reach out to us, you can find all the useful links in the show notes. We would love to connect with you. Keep doing the great work.